Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Diamond Cooper Show, coming to you live over the airways of YouTube from my hometown of Washington, D.C. Thank you for joining me. Thank you to those who have liked and subscribed so far. And if you're just joining, hit that like, boop, that subscribe, boop, rock with your brother, and I'm going to keep coming with this content. Y'all like the jacket? My mommy got it for me. I had to sport it. She said I don't sport enough cowboy gear when I'm doing the show. So I had to put this on. Hello. Hope y'all had a good weekend, good week. If you went back to work, hope it wasn't strenuous. Keep your energy up. Don't let nobody infiltrate it. And as always, we got to start the show off with the first segment. For real. We just enjoyed the college football playoff. Michigan down by a touchdown, 3 minutes left. Come back, score the winning touchdown. We see Washington hold off Texas. Two great games. But in the news, we still hearing about Florida State whining. Just stop, man. Just stop. I mean, y'all the same organization that had people sending death threats to analysts, namely Kirk Herbstreit, Pat McAfee, their families. Then you went out, had 25 players opt out of the game, which is basically, presenting the picture that Mike Norvell, their coach, is, has a quit mentality. You creating a quitting structure. The bowl games matter. Like Bryce Young, he went number one. He played in the bowl game. Joe Burrow played in all his bowl games, even when he didn't go to the college football playoff. C.J. Stroud, that made the playoff. Georgia, they played all their players. You got people sending death threats and everything, and then you go out there and lose by 60. 63-3. I respect the NIL. Some of the youngsters got money coming in, and they know they're going to get drafted and stuff like that. But it's supposed to be pride involved. Pride in winning and putting the best product on the field. You crying, but you're not producing and making the case that you belong in the college football playoff. Going out there with your best players, putting your best product on the field. You had your backup quarter hit the transfer portal. You had one quarterback left that actually had played a few snaps. Your best receivers, your corners, like 25 players that played. It's only 22 total when it comes to offense and defense on the field at one time. And you still whining, you still trying to get out of the ACC. You're still trying to take the $130 million hit that it's going to cost you to leave the ACC. You're trying to jump to the SEC because you want more TV money for your players, but you're creating a culture that make them feel good but quitting. This is a game, man. We competitors. Everybody goes on that field, man, to show their worth when they're on that field so that they can get to the next level. People in the locker room that's grown-ass men, when these youngsters come in, not going to respect the fact that they opting out of bowl games and they opting out because they getting money when they're young and all that. You can't come into the league privileged like that, and that's the culture that you creating at Florida State, a team that I watched Deion Sanders shine for, Charlie Ward, Ward Dunn, Peter Ward, people that went to the NFL to the next level and made plays, made a name for themselves. And now you're just looking like a disgrace, man. 25 players opt out. You get blown out by 60. But you felt like you belonged in the college football playoff. Just imagine what Michigan would have did to you. Or Washington, for that matter. So instead of trying to get the notoriety that you feel you need to get your school the notoriety that you wanted to get as far as money, because that's what it's about. It's about the money. Just stop. For real, just stop. None of us want to hear that. Moving on to the next thing. Remember, I spoke to y'all about David Tepper, the owner of the Carolina Panthers, who threw the drink on one of the fans. He was fined by the NFL $300,000, which is 1% of 1% of his salary. He's worth $20.6 billion, by the way. Yeah. I don't know what y'all think. You can tell me in the comments. I believe that Roger Goodell, the NFL, should give that fine money to the fan he threw his drink on. But I'm going to give y'all some info for the content real quick. He had a quote about his actions, and you let me know what you think. He says, and I quote, "I'm deeply passionate about this team and regret my behavior on Sunday. I should have let NFL stadium security handle any issues that arose. I accept the NFL's code of conduct and accept the league's discipline for my behavior." Doesn't sound like an apology to me, to the person he threw the drink on. And then the key phrase in it is, "I should have let NFL stadium security handle any issues that arose." So that means he's insinuating the fan said something out of the way to him, or maybe something disrespectful to him, and he reacted to it, but he didn't apologize. You talk about a disaster. I'm gonna tell you like this: any coach, any head coach that's available this year should not want to work for David Tepper. For real. I'm just being honest with you. They should not want to work for this dude. This guy has fired 5 coaches, 6, 7 years. He had Matt Rule. He got him from Baylor. Matt Rule was at Temple first, turned them around, went to Baylor, turned them around, signed them to a 7-year contract, fired him after a couple of years. He fired Frank Reich mid-season, an established coach, and been a part of winning franchises. He has no clue what he's doing. It's only 32 head coaching jobs, and we get that. And only 5 or 6 on average a year are open. So I get it. But it isn't ideal. He needs somebody close to him that knows him, that has the guts, that has the cojones. You got to have cojones sometimes. He a billionaire, $20.6 billion. You got to be somebody that know him, that's close to him, and they got the cojones. You can tell him the truth, and he'll actually listen to you. And that person needs to tell him that in order to be successful, in the business of the NFL, you have to build a system that can compare with the other 31 teams. What up, Ill Bill? You can't just be an owner and just get the money from the TV contract at $300 million. No, David Tepper. You are supposed to put a system in place from GM, head coach, players, president, vice president, all the positions below you. You're supposed to build a system that can compete with the other 31 owners. Well, 30, because Green Bay is owned by 6-figure amount of shareholders. There's no one owner for the Green Bay Packers. They're owned by shareholders. But they're all of competitive opponents for revenue. Where I'm from, we call people like him bums. We be like, man, you bum ass, you know. David Tepper, the owner for the Carolina Panthers, especially if I was a coach of African descent, I wouldn't want anything to do with that man. He's unstable, he's reckless, and then he coming out with a statement full of arrogance, no accountability, and then apologize to the fan that he threw the drink on. Boy, I tell you, that's like part 2 to the for real. Now I gotta take me a sip on that, man. If you got a drink, man, hold it up. Toast to you. I'm talking about the Carolina Panthers owner, David Tepper. He threw a drink on the Jacksonville Jaguars fan at the game Sunday. And then he got fined 300,000, and then he came out with this statement. But the statement was bland as shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, he ain't have no accountability. He didn't apologize for what he did. He basically just said he should let the NFL stadium security handle any issues that arose, basically insinuating dude said something or whatever, and that's why he threw the drink. And he said he accept the NFL's code of conduct and accept the league discipline for his behavior, but he ain't apologize for his behavior. You know what I'm saying? Officially, also, yeah. I quoted the statement earlier, man. So on the replay, I quoted the whole one, but that was half of it right there. Yeah. So the Chicago Bears, they got the #1 pick from Carolina based on the trade last year, where Carolina moved up and traded DJ Moore to Chicago, and Chicago moved back, and Carolina took Bryce Young, #1. Carolina locked in the #1 pick this year, but that pick goes to Chicago via that trade. The real question with the whole draft process when it comes to the Chicago Bears, Justin Fields is playing good, and he done already shown flashes. Ran for over 1,000 last year. He's been killing it the last 4 or 5 weeks. They've been winning. They actually were still in the playoff hunt last year, but because of results of other games, Chicago didn't make the playoffs. He been playing good. So Chicago is basically faced with this question. You're going to go ahead and extend Justin Fields because next year he's up for an extension. You extend him, pay him 40, 50 million a year, or do you draft a quarterback, look for a trade for him? They got their own first round pick too. So depending on where they finish, it's probably going to be somewhere in the teens because of what their record is now. I think right now, like 14, 15, something like that. So they have that pick and they have the #1 pick. If I was them, I would keep Justin Fields. I would take Marvin Harrison Jr. with the #2 pick. With the #1 pick. You put Marvin Harrison Jr. with DJ Moore, Cole Kmet at tight end. You're gonna have Khalil Herbert. He'll be fresh next year. The other running back name slips my mind. Gosh, he got hurt. I can't think of his name right now. But do that, and I think with that pick that they get in the teens, either get an offensive lineman, an offensive guard, or a defensive lineman to help that pass rush. Marvin Harrison Jr. with DJ Moore, Justin Fields can run, Khalil Herbert can run, Cole Kmet at the tight end. Oh, Donnell Mooney in the slot, wide receiver. Chicago will be a problem. And then in the later rounds, I just show up the defense, the linebackers in the secondary. You know what I'm saying? But you got to keep Justin Fields. You got to keep Justin Fields, man. He's too talented. You can't give up on him like that, man. Shawty got the legs, everything. You got to protect him, get him one more weapon. And if you get him Marvin Harrison Jr., him and DJ Moore is going to be crazy, ridiculous. Trust me, I know. I've been telling my people for years. I've been watching these dudes in college when they be coming out. And told my mom and my brother a few times when I was away, then told dudes all the time about these guys when they coming in. And then they find out, yeah, dogs, cold-blooded dogs. And don't sleep on Chicago. They're going to be in the hunt next year. If they do that, if they keep Justin Fields and draft Marvin Harrison, I'm telling you right now, on January the 3rd, 2024, that next year Chicago will be in the wild card, man. They're going to be in the wild card hunt. At least, because we don't know what's going on with Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. Jordan Love and Green Bay gonna be there. Detroit gonna be there. But that wild card, you see how close it is this year, and we're about to get into. We're about to get into that. It's gonna be close. The NFC wild card is always close. It always come down to the last couple of weeks. For real, they're gonna be tough. Believe that. Some NFL news though, because it's big games this weekend, playoff implications every day. But we got teams that locked up their seeds, so a lot of people are not gonna be playing. And fresh off the news flash today, Patrick Mahomes ain't playing for Kansas City. Kansas City has a road trip at the Chargers. It was a 1.5 point spread. They was a dog. Now it's 3.5. The money going on the Chargers because Patrick Mahomes ain't playing. Blaine Gabbert is going to start in his place, and it's possible some other players won't play either, like Kelsey. You know what I'm saying? Probably Isaiah Pacheco. He had a couple of concussion issues going on recently. So, you know, keep your eye on that. They locked into the number 5 seed. So they 10-6. It doesn't matter what happened with them. They won the division. They locked in at the number 3 seed. I'm sorry. The Cleveland Browns is locked in at the number 5 seed, and Joe Flacco isn't playing. Jeff Driscoll, y'all might not know him, but he bounced around the college a little bit, played at Florida. They locked into the number 5 seed. They at Cincinnati, and that line has gone from 5 to 7. So everybody right now that's betting money believe that Cincinnati gonna beat the shit out of Cleveland. That's what the money tell you. When the money moves 2 points, it's a lot of money going on that team. So they actually don't believe in Jeff Driscoll. Joe Flacco getting the break. Joe Flacco been balling, been killing it. Cleveland, and they doing a whole lot of this on, and this y'all got to pay attention to when y'all watch some of these sports shows too. When they rocking with the narrative, they throw the stuff out there to get everybody on the wagon. Like they trying to create a balance with the money. Joe Flacco and them are for real because of Joe Flacco's playoff experience. Did y'all know that Joe Flacco has the best road record in the playoff percentage, winning percentage? He won all road games in the playoffs before he won the Super Bowl, and won road games the year he won the Super Bowl. In 2012, and it beat the San Francisco 49ers, Ray Lewis and Ed Reed's last game with the Baltimore Ravens. They putting Cleveland up to be a threat against Baltimore because they know each other and stuff like that. And with their defense, it's not going to be the same, but it remains to be seen. They got to bump into each other in the playoffs. Speaking of Baltimore, they the number 1 seed. Lamar Jackson not playing. Tyler Huntley is starting for Lamar Jackson. They got to play Pittsburgh. Carson Wentz, remember him? Carson Wentz, man. He's still in the league, y'all. I don't know if y'all knew, but he been on the bench with the Rams. Matthew Stafford been balling, but Matthew Stafford taking the day off. The Rams locked up a wild card spot. They at San Francisco. So it don't matter where they at, they in. So they basically saying they don't care where they play. They might give a couple of more people rest. So keep your eyes on that. And when I do my show Friday, I will definitely give you the updates from everybody else who not playing, because we can't have any jewels if we betting on teams and we don't know who playing. Oh, and Sam Darnold is starting for Brock Purdy. So neither the Rams or the San Francisco 49ers are going to have their starting quarterbacks. And right now, the San Francisco 49ers are favored by 4. I think I like Sam Darnold and Kyle Shanahan's offense more than I like Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz has a propensity to throw interceptions. And I think even if San Francisco plays some of their backup defensive players, which they probably will because they got the number 1 seed locked up, I got to go with Sam Darnold in that offense over there. He might give up a turnover, though, but I still think that, you know, they probably handle that. Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk, the wide receiver that's been out for Jacksonville for a while, they both was at practice today, and they both are on track to play at Tennessee. Remember, Jacksonville win, they clinch the South, they in. They lose, they in trouble. Jalen Waddle, they had a walkthrough. Miami didn't do a full practice with pads and stuff like that. They had a walkthrough. Jalen Waddle came back today. He practiced, so looks like he on track to play. And they need him because Miami and Buffalo playing for the AFC East. What else? Tyrod Taylor is starting for the Giants again versus Philly this week. Remember they had a close game a couple of weeks ago. Second time playing in 3 weeks. I don't know, man. Philly looking a little suspect right now, man. They looking a little suspect. They at the MetLife Stadium, so they playing in Jersey. But I don't know, man. The Giants, they might give them some run, man. They might give them some run. And then my boys, we playing against Sam Howell again. Remember last year, his first start was the last game of the season. They beat us 26-6. So, y'all resting Donald? Nah, y'all resting Purdy, Billy. Y'all resting Purdy. Sam Donald starting. Sam Howell. We can't sleep on this dude, man. We gotta go get up on them early, put them away, man. Lock this division in. And lastly, Baker Mayfield, he done with a rib injury, man. And Tampa Bay need to win to clinch their division at Carolina, because if they lose, the winner between New Orleans and Atlanta get that division. And on that, I'm gonna go to the playoff scenarios. I'm gonna start in the AFC. Well, actually, I just told you about New Orleans and Atlanta, so I'll start in the NFC. All right, the NFC look like this. Dallas win, they clinch the East. If they lose and Philly win, Philly clinches the East. Tampa Bay win, they clinch the South, as I just mentioned. And if they lose, the winner between New Orleans and Atlanta, as I just mentioned, will clinch the South. Not cheese on the steak. And Seattle, with the win and the Green Bay loss, they get in. But if Green Bay win at home against Chicago, they in. Right now, Green Bay is a 3-point favorite over Chicago, and Seattle is a 3-point favorite at Arizona. But Kyler Murray and them just upset Philly at home. I don't know. Seattle better not sleep. They might get popped and get out of there. Now, Minnesota, a little different story. They 7-9, and they need to win, but they need a combination of losses by 3 out of 4 teams. Green Bay, Seattle, and Tampa, or Green Bay, Seattle, and New Orleans. So Minnesota need a whole lot. And I don't know if all that's going to happen. Just to keep it real with you. The AFC, the winner between Buffalo and Miami, wins the AFC East. They playing at Miami. But, and this is crazy because Buffalo one of the hottest teams right now. If Buffalo lose to Miami, they can miss the playoffs. I'm going to tell you why. If they lose and Pittsburgh win, Pittsburgh will be in and they will be out. In the same scenario, if Buffalo does win, but Jacksonville lose and Pittsburgh win, then Pittsburgh going to be in. And the reason Pittsburgh will be in is because the winner between Indianapolis and Houston is in either way. And if Jacksonville loses, they win the South. So that will open the door for Pittsburgh to get in. So Pittsburgh need either Buffalo or Jacksonville to lose. And Pittsburgh plays first Saturday at Baltimore. And like I told you, Lamar Jackson isn't playing, and a few other players aren't playing as well. That's going to be interesting how that turns out. Buffalo got to go to Miami and win, because if Buffalo goes to Miami and win, Miami's already in. So it would just switch. So instead of Miami being the 2 seed, Buffalo go from 6 up to 2, and then Miami would drop down to 6. And then the last spot would just be between, it would depend if Jacksonville wins or not, because if Jacksonville win, they got the South. And if the winner of Indianapolis and Houston, they will get the 7th spot. But if Jacksonville loses, Indianapolis and Houston, the winner would get the 4th spot. Jacksonville will be out, and Pittsburgh will get the 7th. It'd be complicated, man, because of the head-to-head matchups, conference records, then division records. So just giving y'all the information that you need so that when you're going into this weekend, you can understand why your team, if your team is still in it. I don't really want to talk about the team that's not in it because I don't want to get on nobody's nerves. I don't want to make y'all feel no way. I love y'all, and I'm happy that you're tuning in. So I don't want to create no negative energy. Couple of lines. Interesting. My Cowboys giving up 13 points on the road. Buffalo is a 3-point favorite at Miami. That's weird. You know, I'm going to give you the Jews Friday, but I'm just throwing this out there so it can be in the ethers. And then maybe y'all can throw a comment in there or something and let me know what y'all thinking. And then maybe we both can go to the window together because y'all know I went to the window this weekend, Sunday and Monday. Thank you, Michigan. Jim Harbaugh. Speaking of Michigan, they're a 4-point favorite against Washington for the national championship Monday. And my favorite phrase when it comes to sport betting, and I'm talking about a favorite in relation to the points, give it. Be in a given mood when it comes to the points. Just give it. I love what Michael Penix Jr. has been doing with Washington. 3 receivers that average over 100 yards a game. Offense is explosive. But they haven't seen a defense like this in the physicality that the Wolverines bringing. Take them Wolverines. I'm letting you know. Take them. Take them. That's the jewel for Monday. We're going to get to the NFL jewels Friday. But just to give you a heads up, so you can get it now before the line changes. At 4.5 now, it's probably going to be up to 5 in some spots, depending on what sports book that you do business with. But Michigan is going to get you to the window. Transition. Get a few NBA notes in here real quick, man. The NBA heating up. We got the trade deadline coming up February the 12th next month. We got some stars that's coming back to start 24 off. They've been out for a little bit. Kyrie coming back for the Mavericks to team up with Luka, who doing this thing. You ain't tell me Michigan ill, Bill. I've been telling everybody Michigan from the jump. We might have agreed on it, but you ain't put your bread on it. Yeah, it's personal, man. They did Harbaugh dirty all year, man. They did Harbaugh dirty all year. Yeah, Kyrie coming back for the Mavs. Kawhi Leonard coming back for the Clippers. Bradley Beal just returning for the Phoenix Suns. And they definitely need him, man, because we haven't seen what him, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant can look like together, man. So we need that, man. Let's rock. And Zach LaVine, young star, coming back for Chicago. So welcoming them brothers back for 2024 to the NBA. I'm about to say NFL. Y'all know I love my football and the playoffs. But, you know, I love NBA, Major League Baseball. Still can't get over Shohei getting $700 million from the Dodgers. Good God Almighty. But Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers, after the in-season tournament loss to the Lakers, and we ain't done too much better since. They were slumming, but they done got out of their little woes and they balling again. They done beat Milwaukee 3 times. Right now, Indiana's in the 6th spot. They're 18-14. And they beat Milwaukee 3 times, man. And Milwaukee, a lot of people got Milwaukee winning it all. Milwaukee right now, number 2 in the East. They at 24-9. And Giannis is beasting, averaging 31, 11 rebounds, shooting 60% from the field. He putting up them MVP numbers again, man. Chris Middleton, he getting his feet back under him. He looking like that mid-range assassin that he used to look like, reminding us of Rip Hamilton back in the days. You know what I'm saying? Dame Lillard, Dame time, dropping 30s, averaging about 27, right there with Giannis, getting his bag, man. You know, the NBA heating up. It's heating up. OG Anunoby, y'all might not be hip to him, but he was with the Toronto Raptors. He got traded to the New York Knicks, and he had his debut, and he showed up. The people who watch basketball, they know what a 3-and-D player is. A person that prides itself on defense, and then you can hit him, run plays. He in the corner, he at the top, he at the wing, and he can knock down a 3. That's what OG Anunoby is. And he's a little taller. He gives him a little more length. I didn't like the fact they gave up Emmanuel quickly. I understood R.J. Barrett, even though he's from Duke, and that's my college basketball team. We ranked number 14. Just put a hammer on Syracuse. I can understand that because the fit didn't really seem right. But I would have kept Emmanuel quickly, man. But still in all, he give him more size, athleticism, a little bit more guts, you know, when it come to that. Right now, he averages 17. Well, he had 17 and 6 rebounds in his debut with him, and they beat Minnesota 112 to 106, despite 35 by Anthony Edwards, who've been balling. Man, if y'all been watching this, oh my God, man. Anthony Edwards, man, he is 22 years old. Minnesota Timberwolves, man. He is a dog, man. Every time the youngsters go to the USA basketball, when they come back, they be cooking. Look at Austin Reeves. Look at Tyrese Halliburton for Indiana. Look at Anthony Edwards. Look at Jalen Brunson. Man, when they go over there in that USA, when they come back, they be balling. Balling, man. It's like that experience just elevate their game. Go do your history. Every time the young dudes go over there and they play with the USA basketball for the qualifying before the big dogs come join the team and then go ahead and try to get the medal. Every time they come back to the league that next year, they have career years, most of them. Check it out. Minnesota actually is #1 seed in the West. They 24-8. And they have the #1 defense in the NBA. They got 10 to 17 games in January on the road, and we're going to see if that hold up, But right now, they're sitting pretty at the top. And the crazy thing is we got some young up-and-coming dogs at #2 in the West, man. OKC, Oklahoma City Thunder, for those who don't know what I mean. They #2, they 23-9. After they beat Boston, who the #1 team in the East, they 26-7. They got the best record in the league. They beat a 127-123 SGA, as we call him, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who the Clippers had. Imagine him still being there with Kawhi. Oh, my. Ooh-wee. Man, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 36 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds. Jalen Williams and Holmgren and him combined averaged 68.1 points a game on 54% shooting from the field. Dangerous young trio, man. They got a trifecta over there that's hurting them. They was 10-3 in December. They got 11 road games in 3 different sets, a 4-game set, a 4-game set, and a 3-game set in January. But they got the #1 road record right now in the NBA at 9-4. So if they survive that stretch without dropping, then they'll be basically showing us that they're here to stay. You feel what I'm saying? My Lakers, we 500, y'all. We gotta sip to that. (17-17), 3-7 since the in-season tournament win. Put a banner up and shit. 6-13 on the road. But AD having a monster year. Lead the league in rebounding, 6 in blocks. He's been dropping 30s, 30-point double-doubles. We just got to put it together. But I'm glad, for one thing, to start 24 off. 11 out of the next 12 is at home at the Crypto.com arena. Used to be Staples Center. We're 11-4 at home, so I'm good about that. So we got 11 out of 12 at home. So out of 11 at home, if we win 8 and finally win that road game, that's a 9-3 record. That'll take us to 26-20, and that could propel us. Because it's time to build some momentum, or you can bet your britches somebody ass about to get traded. Don't know who. Can't say exactly. There's been some names floating. D'Angelo Russell, Roy Hachimura, Taurean Prince. I think we need to keep Taurean Prince, though, because he's playing good defense and he hitting threes like shit. We need to keep Taurean Prince. But they was just putting projections out there. And what's bad about that is when people be throwing these reports and all that out there, the players wind up hearing it because of the social media stuff. Then they go out on the court and they don't be as inspired to play because they think they about to be traded. Now that put the onus on the coach. He got to come in the locker room and he got to get them to get on the right page and understand, man, look, y'all here, man, this is a profession. You professionals, man, do your job. You know what I'm saying? It's a business, but we can't control what nobody outside say. But when you on the court right here, we got to be cohesive. We got to go win. We can't have these stretches where y'all just playing minutes and y'all not effective at all. Because a couple of y'all, since y'all names been out there, haven't really been that fucking effective. Somebody is gonna get traded if these things don't change. Because y'all know LeBron, he like a damn GM himself. He be like, man, look, man, let's try to get Shaw. They already talking about trying to get Zach LaVine from Chicago. We're not getting rid of Austin Reeves. He here, but they might give up D'Lo and Hachimura for him in a draft pick or something. Who knows? I want to see what we got work because we was in the Western Conference Finals last year. And even though we got swept 4-0, we could have won all 4 games. In the one-on, we was down 20 plus. We need to build some momentum right now. And that'll help us get to where we got to go. The next subject, man. It's a little, I guess I could, look at it as if it's directed in my direction because now I'm doing the show and I'm speaking on sports and stuff like that. But a lot of ex-professionals done created this narrative that if you didn't play professional sports, then you're not qualified to talk about it. I'm here to say, y'all can get out of here with that. You all know who you are. I'm not going to call no names. I'm not trying to create no negativity and nothing like that. But I'm just saying, holding on to this narrative that just because you played pro, we don't understand the game because we didn't play pro, is ill-advised and it's misguided. Because some of us were just as good, if not better, than some of y'all. We just might not have had the structure. We just might not have had the support. But that doesn't mean that we didn't have knowledge of the game or the talent. And if I understand correctly, the reason that you guys are on television talking about this is because you understood the game and you had the talent. But your name is what it is because you actually played on the level on television for everybody to see. But that doesn't give you the right to diminish the person who didn't get the chance to reach that pinnacle. Some of us were faced with adverse consequences that you weren't faced with. Some of us were faced with dysfunction in our households that you weren't faced with. Because each one of y'all that made it pro had somebody there to support you and guide you and keep you out of harm's way and show you how to focus on what you need to focus on so you could get there. All of us didn't have that. Some of us had to learn how to survive on the fly, even though we loved the game and we wanted to play it, but we didn't have no food or clean clothes or new clothes. So we had to do what we had to do to survive, and we had to put our talent to the side to survive. But that doesn't mean that we're no less than you just because we didn't play in the NFL, the NBA, or Major League Baseball. Some of us know more about the game than you. Some of us know more about the game than your coaches. But just because we didn't make it to where you are, you feel as though you got a license to diminish us, diminish anybody. I know y'all haven't said anything directly to me, but I'm putting it out there on my platform that you ex-players need to stop trying to diminish somebody who didn't play because they have an opinion or because they understand the game. It's a lot of people who didn't make it. Stephen A. didn't make it pro, but Stephen A. got a lot of good shit to say about basketball because he understands basketball. Skip didn't play in the NFL, but Skip been around fucking Jerry Jones and all these different owners since back in the day, and he's been around the game so long, he has seen how the game is transitioned. That's why I got certain respect for people like Richard Sherman. I never heard Richard Sherman say that because you ain't played football, you ain't got no opinion. I've heard him say it about a certain individual that said something that was ridiculous. Now, people say some ridiculous shit. I get that. I get that. I see you, ill, Bill. Hey, it is what it is. But you can't act like you on a platform to boost people up, critique them when they're not playing well, but then if somebody else does it, their opinion doesn't have the same validity as your opinion because you played in the league and they didn't. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. What are we doing here? Are we about equality, building our people up, or we not? Just because you made millions of dollars doing what you was doing doesn't give you the validity to put down somebody who didn't. I know people in federal prison that was better than people I watched on television playing football, but I got to play with and against them. I was better than people I watched on television. Just happened to go to prison. We lived out a dream that most people got to live out. Well, not most people. You all got to live out and play in the National Football League, play in the NBA, play in Major League Baseball. We play all three sports on the other side of a fence and a wall, and some of us was better than y'all. Some of us was putting up numbers in there that y'all was putting up in the league. And mind you, it's prison, so it's way more physical. If you're going to uplift, uplift. But don't try to assassinate someone's critique of a situation or someone's analysis or someone's conclusion or their soliloquy or their diatribe just because they didn't play at that level. You don't know why they didn't make it unless they tell you. I didn't make it because I went to prison. I didn't make it because the structure that should have been there around me wasn't there. And that's not the cast any aspersions on anybody or pass no blame. That was just my situation. It just wasn't that. But I was just as good as some of you dudes that be talking about a brother that didn't play, don't got no business talking about sports. You got me fucked up. Because I can guarantee you meet anybody in my circle that know me since I was a young nigga, they tell you I know as much, if not more, than some of y'all. But I don't boast because I know I can learn every moment. I still learn every moment. Moving right along before I get out of here, but I had to put that out there. Stop degrading people just because they didn't make it to a professional league. If you're going to uplift, uplift. Don't sit there and have charities and shit for the kids at schools and you got football teams and you build little facilities for children and all this other stuff like you giving back to the community, but you degrading somebody just because they got an opinion because they didn't play on the level that you played at. That's contradictory, man. And if some of y'all was faced with some of the shit that we was faced with, who knows if you would have got there? Who knows if you might not have been a victim? So get off your high horses, man. And remember that just because your bank account might be bigger and you might be walking around hurting like shit because you played in the league with that contact for real, and some of us didn't make it, don't make you no better, brother. Make sure y'all check out Club Shay Shay with Cat Williams too. Cat Williams is going in. Steve Harvey, Said the Entertainer, Ricky Smiley. Y'all got to go on YouTube. Check out Club Shay Shay. He talking about Cat Williams. Shout out Ill Bill. You rocking with me. I see you, baby. My Uncle Twin. My man Waverly and Delonte Cook. They're on the other side of the fence. Miss y'all, man. Big Gut just came home. B and Big Pat. Peace and love. Tell your people to tell they people to tell they people. Hit that like, boop, that subscribe, and holler at your boy. Peace.